Pollen season is here, and Premier Heating and Air has rebates on new units starting at $1,000. Indoor air quality products are free with the purchase of a new unit, and all types of financing are available for new units and for repairs. Premier Heating and Air, a locally owned and operated company. Log on to dublin.premierishere.com or call 478-300-2633. And for a limited time only, enjoy a one-time exclusive offer for new customers with our dispatch fee waived on your next repair. So call or log on today. Premier is here.
As Eugenia comes up to do the pledge and prayer, just wanted to talk about your joys and concerns of the club. I know we need to keep Alan Thomas and Willie Polk in our prayers as they're going through some health issues. Is there anybody else that we need to do that with?
Terry Howard, who was going to do the invocation today, is sick.
All right, I need to keep Terry as well.
Today.
And Eugenia, if you'll come on up and...
Please join me in prayer. From Psalm 51, create in me a pure heart, O God, and renew a steadfast spirit within me. Do not cast me from your presence or take your Holy Spirit from me. Renew to me the joy of your salvation and grant me a willing spirit to sustain me. Heavenly Father, accept our thanks for this day and for its blessings. Bless our fellowship today and bless this food to the nourishment of our bodies in your service. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Of the things we think, say, and do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Beneficial to all concerned. And thank you to all who signed up to do the greeter and invocation for the month of February.
Does anybody have any other announcements that need to go before the club at this time? If not, it's my pleasure to introduce Mr. Randy Gay. He is our speaker today with a CTAE program for East Lawrence and West Lawrence for our Lawrence County schools. They do a lot of great things and teach a lot of life skills that will go on far and beyond their education. So at this time, Randy, if you'll come up and share with us.
So good afternoon. As Pastor said, my name is Randy Gay, and I have the pleasure of being the CTAE Director for Lawrence County Schools. When people ask me exactly what I do, I tell them that I have the best job in the county, because I truly, truly believe that I do have the best job that you could possibly have. I get to work with some of the greatest teachers, the most dedicated teachers. They spend hours not only in the classroom educating our students, but also after hours getting ready for CTSO competitions and events, and just preparing our students for the workforce. So people ask me all the time, what is CTAE? What's that stand for? Well, CTAE stands for Career, Technical, and Agriculture Education. Back when I was in school, we had industrial arts in elementary school, and we may have an ag shop in high school. I was telling Patrick earlier, my project in high school is we built deer stands, but we had to use a handsaw. Terry Brown wouldn't let us use any power tools. It was just a handsaw, and you built a deer ladder stand. Well, now all of that's changed. Our CTA programs have state-of-the-art equipment in them throughout all of our, both our high schools and our middle schools, and we do have CTA in our elementary schools. So in CTAE, when students sign up for a CTA course, there's three. We want them to complete a pathway. And what a pathway is a pathway consists of 3 courses that students take in order to earn that pathway. Now, once they complete those 3 courses, they have an opportunity to earn a credential of value, which is a EOPA test, which is an end of pathway test that the state has developed that the students can take. And by passing that test, they can earn a credential of value, which for, say, early childhood education, that pathway, the same classes that we offer, the first 2 classes that they have to take if they go on to college, being an elementary school teacher, they can exempt those two classes if they have had them in high school. There's a lot of advantages for the kids for those classes, for passing that credential of value. For the county schools, and I gave each one of you a chart here, if you want to refer to this. For Lawrence County Schools, we have over 19 pathways that we offer our students. 19 different pathways between our two high schools. And as you can see here on the card, at West Lawrence High School, we have a business and technology, architecture and construction. We have ag mechanics, horticulture and forestry, horticulture and animal science, forestry and animal science, food and nutrition. We have an Army JROTC program at West High, early childhood education, automobile maintenance. That's a very popular one amongst students, that they get to work on vehicles. We've had a lot of partnerships with that program, with Dorsey Tire, and a lot of other the tire places here in town. Duncan Tire, all these partner with us. The Chevrolet dealership, we've had a great partnership with that program. In the health science area, we got therapeutic services with allied health, sports medicine, engineering and technology, mechatronics. We have law enforcement services, fire and emergency services, game design, and web design. And then on the opposite side of that, you can see at East Lawrence. East Lawrence doesn't have quite as many pathways, and that's just based on sheer number of students. With West being double the size, we can't offer the same number of pathways that we do at West Lawrence, because if you did that, you'd have 4 or 5 students in a class. It's just, you just can't offer the same things. But East does have some things that West doesn't have. East has welding, along with your engineering and your construction, your nursing, your sports medicine, the fire emergency services, and those things. So our high schools are both equipped with pathways that prepare our students for the workforce. Back in 2019, we were very fortunate enough that the state called us and wanted us to, when we pilot an elementary CTAE program. So we were able to pilot that program. We helped write the lesson plans for the elementary ag. So we offer elementary ag now at all of our elementary schools. And we do have 3 functional barns at our elementary schools. Northwest has a barn. If you've been through the Northwest Colorado line, you may see goats and chickens, or you may see a duck walking through the Colorado line, because they do get out from time to time. Southwest has a barn, and we just last year built a barn over at East Lawrence Elementary. So all of our elementary students are being exposed to the ag through the elementary ag programs. I also gave you, each one of you's got a booklet here that I created that goes through all of our pathways that I mentioned, and it goes into more detail about each one of our pathways, what it takes to complete the pathway, the starting salary. The kids can earn a lot of different career options through that pathway. So the booklet gives you a lot more detailed with the pathways. The card here is very helpful, not only for when parents call and ask. I get phone calls from time to time with parents. What do you offer? What does it take for my child to complete that pathway? And it's real easy by pulling this card out. I mean, it's got everything all 3 classes that they need, and the counselors use it too with our 9th graders. As they're enrolling 9th graders, 8th graders really, enrolling them for high school, and for our 9th graders as they're getting ready to move forward through high school, about what I was offered for their classes. So this is very helpful in that aspect. We like to support our local industry and our business leaders, our community leaders. So each year, twice a year, I have an advisory team that I have that's made up of local business leaders. And through that, they make suggestions to us of what they would like to see our schools offer. And we've done a very good job, I think, of supporting that and listening to our stakeholders. Just in the last 3 years, 4 years, we've added sports medicine. That was one of the things that they mentioned to us. And really, it was something that, because the healthcare industry was looking for workers. They needed more students involved in the healthcare field. And when I got looking at it, I was like, Bass Rehab, they try their best to come out to all of our sporting events. You probably years ago, you saw Mr. Bass on the sidelines, and then you saw Chuck Bass, his son. Back when I was in school, it was Mr. Bass. And then Chuck and Whitney and all those will be on the sidelines. Well, now, by adding the sports medicine pathway, we have our own athletic trainers. Not only do they teach the sports medicine pathway, but they also provide an athletic training to all of our athletes for every sport. They're at every home game that we have, every home athletic event, our athletic trainers are there. Through the uses of grant money that we got, and our Board of Education is very supportive of CTAE, and with money that they've given us, we have 2 fully functional athletic training facilities. If you name it, they can give that type of treatment to our athletes right there within our school. Another area that the advisory committee talked about was EMR. We started out with EMT. EMT was a little bit more detailed, and I always tell this story here. This really came out, it really hit home back in 2019. I had just started as CTA director. I was coming from West Lawrence High School as assistant principal, and I had a heart attack. On the way to Macon in the ambulance, Mitch Cobb, the paramedic that was in the back of the ambulance with me, he was just trying to get my mind off me about to go through 5 bypasses, that he started talking to me about what it would look like if we offered an EMT class in our high school. So through that trip to Macon, that's how that program was born. We started out with the EMT, but it requires a lot of training, on-the-job training, so to speak. And it got to the point that we had high school kids have to do so many hours of ride-alongs. And we didn't want to expose 17-year-old students to a car wreck where a newborn baby was not in a car seat. And they drive up on the scene, and we didn't want to do that to them. So now with the EMR, the hours are not as many with EMR, which is emergency medical responder. Those hours isn't as many, so they ride in a separate vehicle. They still do ride-alongs, but they screen what they are exposed to. So they ride in a separate vehicle. They still have to do those ride-along hours, so they still go to the wrecks. They still go and do a lot of the things. They just kind of shield them from those things. So that was a program that we listened to our community. And a new one that we added this year is, last year, was fire. The county commissioners they support us in providing these instructors. Mitch Cobb works for for EMS, but he teaches here in our schools. He swaps semesters with East and West. And then last year we added fire. Josh McCard came to me and he said, "Hey, EMS is doing it. Why can we do something for Lawrence County Fire?" Absolutely. So now we offer fire and emergency services at both of our high schools. If we offer EMR at East first semester, then JED is at West first semester. They're not at the same campus at the same time. That way they can share the same classroom and to share the same resources. Another one that we added, Ryan Waldrop came to me at one of our advisory meetings and he said, "Man, y'all have got to get mechatronics. Y'all have got to, that is, everywhere I go, people are asking about mechatronics. So this year we added mechatronics. I like getting my feet wet a little bit before I jump right in with both feet. So we started this year at West High, again, based on sheer numbers, the number of students that needed somewhere to go. So we started this year, and we're looking to expand that in the future to offer it at both of our high schools. So we listen to our community involvement. Our community leaders, We want to assist y'all in providing students that you need to work for you in your industry. So if you have any suggestions, please reach out to me. And if it's something that we can do, we'd be more than happy to help prepare students to come to work for you. And the last thing I want to mention to you is work-based learning. And I laid a work-based learning sheet on your table also that talks about the work-based learning. In Lawrence County Schools, we have 2 full-time work-based learning coordinators. Their job, Monday through Friday, is to place students to go to work. That could be, it looks a little different now than it did back when I was in school. Work-based learning meant you got to leave school early, okay? And they still leave early, but some of them come in late because they may get a job that needs you in the morning time. So they may work from 8 to 12 and then come to high school. Or they may come in the morning and then leave and go to work. But for the 23-24 school year, we had 186 work-based learning students, 145 different employers, and those students earned $798,354. That's how much money those students earned. So work-based learning is a big part of what we do. They can learn it in the classroom, they can learn about construction with Mr. Johnson, and then they can go to work after lunch or in the mornings or whenever they need them with Mr. Charlie Garbert, who is a big supporter of CTAE. So work-based learning is a big, important piece for us in CTAE. I know that's just a highlight of what we offer. Y'all are more than welcome. If you would like to have a tour of our schools, I think you'll be impressed of what we have in Lawrence County. I've told Jeff earlier, if you walked in his construction lab or Heath Foskey's construction lab at East Lawrence High School, you would think you was in a Home Depot. And I'm not joking. They have any type of tool that you could imagine when it comes to the construction trade. If you walked into any of our labs, from flight simulators, where you can sit down and you can pick what kind of jet you want to fly, or what kind of Delta plane you want to drive, what airport you want to fly out of, these things we have in our schools. So please feel free, if you want to come look and take a tour, just let me know, and I'll be more than happy to take you to our schools and let you see what all we have going on in Lawrence County Schools when it involves CTAE. So when Ryan called me and asked me would I come speak, the first thing he asked me, he didn't ask me to come speak. The first thing he asked me, do you think you can get Jeff to come speak? And I said, well, I don't know, Ryan. Ryan's son had Jeff last year, and I'm sure his son went home and telling Ryan the great things that goes on in construction at West Lawrence High School. Jeff was unable to come at the time because he was at a conference receiving another award. I had the privilege of going with Jeff a couple of months ago, and he earned the Construction Teacher of the Year for the state of Georgia. He drove in late last night. He wasn't, like I say, he was not supposed to be here. They're at a conference up in Ackworth, but he drove in last night so he could be here to talk a little bit about the construction class at West Lawrence High School. So I'm going to let Jeff come up now, and he's going to tell you some of the great things that goes on in construction at West Lawrence High School. Jeff?
Thank you, Randy.
Hi, I'm Tom Dominy. Here at Dublin with Nelson, we pride ourselves on providing the industry's highest quality products at the most competitive pricing. We are a full-service wholesaler specializing in plumbing, irrigation, and industrial products. With a staff that collectively offers more than 50 years of expertise, our team knows your industry, and we can answer your questions and help you get the parts and equipment you need. From mowing to Renee, we carry the plumbing, irrigation, and industrial products you need from the brands you trust. We also carry a great lineup of Milwaukee tools. At Dublin with Nelson, our goal is the long-term success of your business. We achieve that goal with a simple commitment, doing things right, one customer at a time. If you have a question, or if you're looking for a hard-to-find part, give us a call. Our experts are ready to help. Order online, give us a call, or come by at 507 Airport Road in Dublin. We're committed to building long-term relationships with our customers by earning your business every day.
I'm Heath Richter, and we just want to invite everybody to come on down to the Houston Clinic and check us out at our new facility. We've been in Dublin for a while now, obviously, but have a new office here, and we'd just like you to come down and see some of the new stuff we're offering. And if you need to get checked out, we'd be glad to do that for you. We've got able to do some ultrasound-guided injections now, and physical therapy, and just a little bit better space, so hopefully we can get you in and out of here a little bit quicker.
Come by and see us today at our brand new location, the Houston Clinic, Medical Drive in Dublin.
You know, Randy says he's got the best job in the county. I know I have the best job in the school building. And so I absolutely love what I do. But I want to tell you a little bit about me before I jump into the program, so you'll know who I am. I graduated from Dublin High School in '87. I grew up here in Lawrence County. At age 14, I started working, I know that's really young, with a local contractor named Sonny Kimball. I don't know if some of you remember him. And I built houses from age 14 to age 25. And I like to say that Sonny helped put me through college, right? And I went to Georgia Southern, and I majored in building construction and contracting, but I quickly changed my major to education and graduated from Georgia Southern. I took my first teaching job at Burke County High School, which is right south of Augusta, and I taught there for 21 years. I first started teaching technology education and Cisco computer networking, but then when Plant Vogel was being started, they asked me to move over and teach construction. I jumped at that opportunity. I am a licensed contractor in the state of Georgia, and so I've now been teaching construction for 18 years. In 2015, West Lawrence High School gave me a call and invited me to come on down and move my family to Dublin and to open the construction program at West Lawrence High School, and here I am. So I want to tell you a little bit about what I teach. Hit that next slide for us, Randy. Oh, no, I want to ask you a question first, or tell you a statement, really. According to the NCCER, which is the National Center for Construction, Education, and Research, they're saying that 41% of our construction industry in our nation are going to retire by year 2031. Now, what that tells me is that in 6 short years, we're going to have a shortage. We really already have that shortage, and you understand that. That's called the skills gap, and that gap is very real. And so part of what I do as an educator is to try to introduce construction to these students and get them to move into this industry, because there's going to be a lot of great opportunities for young people now and in the future because of the average age of a construction worker right now. I looked this up last night to make sure I have my facts right, is 42 years old, okay? It used to be 52 years old, which means that we're making progress, aren't we? And so that's a good thing. Let's go to the next slide. I want to tell you a little bit about what I teach. So the first level class that I teach is called Industrial Fundamentals and Occupational Safety. And in that class, what I'm going to do is just introduce this whole thing about construction, usually to freshmen. Now, I teach 4 of those classes a year, which is about 100 kids a year just in my first level class. And I got some pictures there, Randy, you can start scrolling through. In that class, I'm going to talk about safety, and of course, which is our number one important thing to do. And then the next thing I'm going to cover is construction math. We're going to get into hand tools and power tools, and we're going to get into some, we're going to call it blueprint reading. They don't really call it blueprints anymore. They just call them prints, but I don't teach them how to draw them. That's an architect's job. It's our job to teach these kids how to read these drawings so we can get that build correct. And then we're going to get into some really important things called employability skills and good communication skills. And those things are vital for their future employment. And that's what happens in my first level class. My second level class that I teach is called Introduction to Construction, which is a kind of a weird way to say that that's the second level class. But in that class, we're going to focus on the 4 main trade areas that I teach. I teach carpentry, plumbing, masonry, and electrical. And so what happens in that class is it's a 100% lab class. That means every day they come to class, they're working in the lab. And so I will have a full class. I teach 2 of those classes a year, and they're full, so we're saying an average about 60 kids a year in that class. And I might have 7 of them laying brick. At the same time, I've got 7 of them doing electrical. At the same time, I've got 7 of them doing carpentry. At the same time, I've got 7 doing plumbing. And listen, it's a beautiful thing to watch when everything's going great, because everybody in the room is working. Now, we do that for 4 weeks, and then we rotate that trade. And that's my second level class. Now they have exposure to the opportunities in construction in those 4 areas. Now we can go to my third level class, which is my carpentry class. In that carpentry class, we're going to focus on floor systems, wall systems, roof systems, and stairs. What we're going to do is we are very much project-based, where we would build. I think there's some pictures. Yeah, we started building a house last year. I went to Randy. I said, Randy, I got an idea. And I don't know if he likes that or not, but I said, listen, what I want to do is I want to build a house in the parking lot, and I want you to pay for it. And he said, no problem, let's do it. And so we did it. That class, we built that whole house in 1 semester. It was a great experience. I don't call it a tiny house. I call it it's just a little house. And I followed my curriculum. And so we didn't wire it. We didn't plumb it. We didn't put siding on it. But we did do all the framing, and we installed the shingles, and we put all the windows in. And so, and then we sold the house for the cost of the materials that we had in it. So somebody got a pretty good deal. And so that's what we did last year. This year we went to storage buildings. And so we're in the process of putting the roofs on those storage buildings now. But the reason that I do carpentry and not plumbing, or electrical or masonry as my third level class is because an electrician's got to have something to wire, and a plumber's got to have something to plumb, and a mason's got to have something to lay brick against. And so we're going to learn carpentry and lots of math skills that we incorporate with that. And it makes really that math that they learned in class really come alive. So it's a lot of fun to do that. Let's talk about credentials. Now, I tell my kids, I say, look, guys, all roads in life lead to the same place. You know what their response is? Death, right? That's not where I'm going with that. They're right. I can't argue with that, right? All roads in life lead to work, and we're all going to show up there in some way, right? So why not, while you're in high school, earn a credential that will help you be more successful as you start your career? And so in my very first level class, my kids can earn their first nationally recognized work-ready credential from the NCCER called CORE. And, I didn't crunch my numbers. I can't tell you how many kids that I've had earn that credential. There's a large number that earn that. In my second level class, which is where they do those 4 trades, kids are going to earn their OSHA 10 certification. And that's big time right there. For a high school kid to come out of high school and already have their OSHA 10, that's really big. And then the third credential, work-ready credential that they can earn is their NCCER carpentry credential. And so I'm all about credentials, because if they can equip themselves, they are more marketable, and then they might get that job just like somebody else without that credential get a job, but they might start off at a higher rate of pay. And so anyway, that's what I tell them. Hey, we got to get these credentials. I want to talk to you about my industry partners. I had 2 years ago, I have an advisory committee just like Randy does. And so 2 years ago, I kind of presented this thing to my advisory committee, and I said, guys, I want every one of my kids that come through my second level class to get their OSHA 10. And I want you to pay for it. I'm all about somebody else paying for it, right? And so Charlie Garbett and Tim Lentile anteed up, and they paid for 2 years' worth of my students to have seats to get their OSHA 10-hour certification. And that has helped me so much. And so that has helped our school, it helps our community. But I also get industry support through other contractors around the state, which brings me to what we call our alliances. Back in 2012, a group of contractors got together in the Augusta area because I was close to Augusta. We had some contractors get together with a group of construction educators, and the educators, they wanted to know they wanted to tell industry how they could help them, but industry wanted to tell us how we could help them. And so we got talking back and forth, and industry guys said, listen, we need to see what you got. So we developed this thing called a skills challenge in Augusta. And this skills challenge was, well, we're going to bring 2 carpenters, 2 plumbers, 2 masons, 2 electricians, 2 roofers, 2 blueprint readers, 2 welders, 2 sheet metal benders, whatever we got. And we're going to just have a big old competition, and we're just going to see what happens. Well, it was a big success. The industry partners loved it, because when those competitions were finished, industry was standing right there to talk to these guys saying, hey, we like what we see. Would you like to come work for our company, right? And so it was happening. Well, this kind of thing just kind of blew up, right? And so now there's 8 different alliances around the state, and there's 8 different alliance competitions that happen in our first semester in September, October, November. We attend 3 of those. We go to Macon and compete, we go to Statesboro and compete, and we also go to Augusta and compete. And selfishly, I got to tell you, we've been very successful. We've had a lot of success. They always honor the overall winning school at those competitions, and West Lawrence High School has been the overall winner for the past 4 years. And so we've done very well. And these are just pictures of the guys at those competitions in different venues. We only attend 3 because I can't miss too much school. But anyway, it's a lot of fun. And the industry is really benefiting from it. And I'm going to talk about my successes right at the end. I'm just about finished. But other than our skills challenges with our alliances, we have Skills USA. And Skills USA is a career tech student organization. And you might remember, some of you graybeards in the room, you guys might remember VICA. Do y'all remember VICA? VICA has now changed to Skills USA. But there's others that we might remember, FFA or TSA or FBLA. Those are our student organizations. And I'm one of the advisors at the high school, and of course, we try to get all these kids fired up to be involved in Skills USA. Skills USA now, we're the second largest student organization on campus. It's really difficult to compete with FFA. I mean, they really have got their act together. And so, but we do great. We've had a couple of state officers. I know we've had 2. I think East Lawrence has had 5, maybe 6 in their past history. And so East Lawrence has an outstanding Skills USA chapter, also as West Lawrence. But the kids in Skills USA get to learn a lot of different things in leadership skills, competitions, and organizing different events that we have. And it's just a lot of fun. And you know, I got to tell you that I'm a big believer that I think every child needs to belong somewhere. And wherever they decide to plug in, they need to plug in and get the most as they can get out of their high school career. And Skills USA just offers that opportunity for a lot of them. We'll go to state coming up in 2 weeks, and we'll compete. We have 38 going. I know East Lawrence has about 42 going. So Lawrence County will be well represented at our state competitions coming up soon. But you know, it's really hard to win at the state level because you're competing across the whole entire state. I think the past 6 years, West Lawrence has won first place in our opening and closing ceremony. We're going back to try to defend that title again this coming year. We've gone to nationals 4 times. Randy's daughter was on that team. I think the highest that we've placed in that competition is 5th in the nation. We've competed at national level in prepared speech a number of years. We've placed second in the nation in prepared speech. We've had kids compete in plumbing and other trades, in nursing trades and all these other trades that we've had at Skills USA. Skills USA is kind of like a big umbrella that encompasses things like automotives and nursing, cosmetology, criminal justice. So we have a lot of kids that can plug into the Skills USA event. I want to talk briefly about my successes. And I don't have all of them. I don't know once they graduate where they go, but I've had quite a few kids that graduated from West Lawrence and moved straight to Georgia Southern to major in construction management. A lot of them. And that's great. I've had kids go straight to work and to make good money working in their chosen career. But I want to focus on just two, and the first one is Mr. Skylar Grove. Yeah, there's Skylar. Skylar competed with me in the plumbing area at the Alliance competitions, and he won first place at the Alliance. Then he went to state, won first place in the state, had his ticket punched to go to nationals. Skylar had joined the Army, and he couldn't get out of it to go to compete at the national level. So he had to defer to the second place winner that year, who went to nationals and won first place in the nation. And Skylar had beat him at state. So I'm well confident that Skylar would have done very well at the national level. But Skylar got picked up by Goldmec out of Augusta, and he worked for Goldmec for a number of years. And then he moved over to a smaller company called Stark Plumbing. And I like to say Skylar is the poster child for Stark Plumbing. If you Google Stark Plumbing, this is the young man you're going to see. Skylar called me yesterday. He keeps up with me. I guess he wants to make sure I'm still living. But he wants to take me out to lunch tomorrow, so I'm excited about that. He's married. He's just doing really, really well for himself. So I'm super excited for Skylar. And my last one I want to talk about is Brock Wynn. Brock came to me as a freshman, got him involved in bricklaying, and he was very successful again at the Alliances. He wanted to be a state officer for Skills USA. So Brock ran for officer, and he won, and he helped lead the state in Skills USA, did a great job that year. Brock went to Georgia Southern, majored in construction management, and he now works for one of the largest construction companies in our nation. And Brock called me about 2 weeks ago, he called me. They keep up with me. It's crazy. They keep up with me. But he called me, and I said, Brock, it's kind of late in the evening for you to be calling me this late. I said, well, where exactly are you, Brock? He said, well, I've been in Hawaii for the last 6 weeks. And we got a big project going on down here, and I'm in Hawaii right now. And I said, well, when are you going to be home? He said, well, I'll be home in 2 weeks. I want to take you out to lunch. I said, well, I'm going to let you pay for it, Brock. And so, anyway, had a great time visiting with them. But I tell you all that because that's just my little world. That's what I do. But like I said, I'm a big believer that every child belongs somewhere. And so if it's in one of these CTAE classes that's in nursing or engineering or whatever it is, they don't have to be in my class. I just want them to be a productive citizen and learn a trade and get out there and do their thing. That's what's important to me. So anyway, that's all I got. I'll stick around if y'all have any questions.
So y'all ready to go to construction class? When y'all want to? But Jeff is passionate about construction. I could have brought any of my teachers. I could have brought Melinda Hester, who teaches game design. Her kids write their own video games and then play each other and then compete against one another with their video games. I could have brought my engineering teacher, my nursing teacher. Any of my teachers are just as passionate about their program as Jeff is his. So again, if you would like to take a tour, I feel welcome you to come out and we can take you around. And we appreciate y'all's time and letting us come speak with y'all today. Thank you.
Thank you both for the time you invest in our students, especially in these needed fields that we do have a shortage coming up in many of these. Thank you very much. At this time, we're adjourned. Thank you. Have a good weekend.